Welcome back everyone. Today's video is going to be a real treasure hunt for coin collectors because we are diving into the top 5 most valuable United Kingdom halfpenny coins. These small bronze coins may look simple, but depending on the year, condition, minting details, and rare varieties, some of them can be worth surprising amounts of money in today's collector market. The British halfpenny, also known as the halfpenny, has a long and fascinating history. It features the iconic seated Britannia design on earlier issues and later the updated decimal era designs. Over the years, millions were minted, but only a small number survive today in truly high-grade condition, which is where the real value comes in. Let's get started. First up, the United Kingdom halfpenny 1943. This small copper coin may look ordinary at first glance, but many collectors around the world are searching for high-quality examples and rare variations. Even circulated and damaged coins from 1943 can attract attention because they were produced during the difficult years of World War II. In today's video, we will explore the history of the 1943 halfpenny, its unique design features, rarity, collector demand, and the auction market value in US dollars. Make sure you watch until the end because some rare examples of this coin have surprised collectors with impressive prices. The United Kingdom halfpenny has a long history that dates back hundreds of years. By 1943, Britain was deeply involved in World War II, and coins were still needed for everyday trade and business across the country. The 1943 halfpenny was issued during the reign of King George VI, who ruled the United Kingdom from 1936 to 1952. During the war years, Britain faced shortages of materials, economic pressure, and increased industrial demand. Despite these challenges, the Royal Mint continued producing coins for circulation. The halfpenny of 1943 was made mainly from bronze, giving it its classic brown appearance. Millions of these coins entered circulation, and people used them daily to buy goods, food, and basic necessities during wartime Britain. Because these coins were heavily circulated, finding clean and well-preserved examples today has become more difficult. Many surviving pieces show heavy wear, scratches, corrosion, or discoloration after decades of use. Now let's take a closer look at the unique features of the 1943 United Kingdom halfpenny. On the obverse side of the coin, you will find the portrait of King George VI facing left. Around the portrait appears the Latin inscription identifying the king. This royal design became one of the most recognizable wartime coin portraits in British history. On the reverse side, the famous image of Britannia is displayed sitting beside a shield and holding a trident. Britannia has long been a symbol of British strength and national pride. The denomination halfpenny appears clearly below the design. Along with the year 1943, the coin has a smooth edge and a classic bronze color, although circulated examples often develop dark tones, black spots, or green corrosion over time. Some collectors actually enjoy coins with original aged surfaces because they reflect the history and journey of the coin through decades of circulation. Another interesting feature is the wartime production quality. During World War II, minting conditions were not always perfect, so some coins may show weak strikes or minor errors. Coins with unusual features, off-center strikes, or die cracks can sometimes attract extra collector interest. Although the 1943 halfpenny is not considered extremely rare in normal circulated condition, collector demand remains strong because of its historical importance. Coins from the World War II era are always popular among collectors, especially those connected to King George VI. Most surviving examples today are circulated or damaged. Many have scratches, worn lettering, faded details, rust-like corrosion, or dark surfaces. Even in damaged condition, collectors may still purchase these coins if the date remains visible and the overall design can still be recognized. The value of a circulated 1943 halfpenny depends greatly on condition. Common worn examples are affordable, but unusual varieties, minting errors, or sharply detailed circulated pieces can become more desirable. Some collectors build complete wartime coin collections, while others search specifically for historical coins from the 1940s. Another reason for the demand is nostalgia and historical connection. Many people enjoy owning coins that were used during World War II because they represent a major period in world history. Coins that survived wartime circulation carry a unique story that modern coins simply cannot offer. Now let's discuss the current market value of the 1943 United Kingdom halfpenny in circulated condition. In general, heavily circulated examples with visible wear usually sell for around $1 to $5. Coins with corrosion, scratches, or damage may sell for even less, especially if details are difficult to identify. However, better circulated examples with clearer details and attractive surfaces can reach between $10 and $25. Extremely well-preserved coins with strong detail may sell for significantly higher prices at auctions. Rare minting errors or unusual varieties can increase the value dramatically. Some collectors are willing to pay $50, $100, or more for exceptional examples with interesting characteristics. Auction prices also depend on market demand, rarity, grading, and overall eye appeal. It is important to remember that online auction prices can vary greatly. Two coins from the same year may sell for completely different amounts depending on condition and collector interest at the time of sale. If you are interested in collecting the 1943 halfpenny, there are several important tips to remember. First, always examine the date carefully to make sure the coin is genuine and readable. Many old bronze coins become heavily worn over time. Second, avoid cleaning old coins aggressively. Cleaning can damage the original surface and reduce collector value. Most experienced collectors prefer natural surfaces, even if the coin looks dark or aged. Check for unusual mint errors or striking differences. Small details like off-center strikes, cracks, or missing design elements can make a coin more collectible. It is also a good idea to store old coins properly in protective holders or albums to prevent further corrosion or scratches. Next up, the famous 1942 United Kingdom halfpenny coin, especially the mysterious black shade condition that often attracts attention from collectors and treasure hunters. We will explore its history, unique features, rarity, collector demand, and current auction market value in dollars. Make sure you stay until the end because some of these coins, depending on condition and appearance, can surprise collectors with their value. The 1942 halfpenny was issued during the reign of King George VI at the height of World War II. Britain was facing economic pressure, metal shortages, and wartime challenges. Even during those difficult years, millions of halfpennies were still produced for everyday use across the country. These coins became part of daily life and were commonly used for small purchases. The 1942 halfpenny was struck in bronze and featured classic British design elements that today represent an important piece of wartime history. According to coin records, more than 71 million pieces were minted in 1942, making it a common circulation coin in standard condition. Now let's talk about the black shade condition that many collectors find interesting. A black shade halfpenny usually refers to a coin that has developed very dark toning over time. This can happen because of age, oxidation, storage conditions, moisture exposure, or chemical reactions within the bronze metal. Some collectors enjoy natural dark toning because it gives the coin an antique appearance and highlights its age. However, if the black surface comes from damage, corrosion, or harsh cleaning, the value can actually decrease. Natural toning and damaged surfaces are two very different things in the coin collecting world. The obverse side of the 1942 halfpenny shows the portrait of King George VI facing left. Around the portrait are the Latin inscriptions identifying him as king and emperor. On the reverse side, collectors can see the famous image of the Golden Hind ship, designed by Thomas Humphrey Paget. This historic ship design is one of the reasons many collectors love British halfpenny coins from this era. The detailed artwork and wartime connection make the coin visually appealing even today. Although the 1942 halfpenny is not considered extremely rare in circulated condition, special examples can still attract collector interest. Coins with strong detail, unusual toning, minting errors, or high-grade preservation can command much higher prices than ordinary pieces. Black shade examples with attractive natural toning sometimes sell for more money because collectors appreciate unusual appearances. However, heavily damaged coins with scratches, corrosion, or cleaning marks usually remain inexpensive and damaged or heavily circulated condition. Most 1942 halfpenny coins are generally worth only a few dollars or less. Many collectors online mention that worn examples often have little commercial value, especially if they are polished or corroded. However, coins with eye-catching dark toning and better detail may sell between $5 and $20 depending on collector demand. Uncirculated examples can be worth much more. Price guides show that mint state examples may range from around $1 to over $70 depending on grade quality and rarity in auction sales. Some professionally graded high-quality 1942 halfpennies have appeared in auctions for impressive prices, especially coins with exceptional surfaces and strong strike quality. While common circulated examples remain affordable, premium condition coins continue to attract serious collectors. This proves an important lesson in coin collecting: condition is everything. A simple old coin in average shape may only be worth pocket change, while a sharply preserved example can become highly desirable. If you own a 1942 halfpenny in black shade condition, there are a few important tips to remember. First, never clean the coin aggressively. Cleaning can destroy original surfaces and reduce collector value dramatically. Many experienced collectors warn against polishing old coins because it removes the natural aging that collectors appreciate. Second, store the coin in a dry and safe holder to prevent further damage. Third, check carefully for unusual features such as minting errors, sharp details, or attractive natural toning. Finally, if you believe your coin is in exceptional condition, consider professional grading to confirm authenticity and condition. The 1942 United Kingdom halfpenny remains a wonderful piece of British history. Even though millions were minted during World War II, collectors still enjoy searching for special examples with unique appearance and strong detail. The black shade condition gives these coins a mysterious and historic character that many coin enthusiasts admire. While most damaged examples are not extremely valuable, attractive toned pieces and high-grade specimens can still achieve strong auction prices in today's collector market. Next up, the 1939 United Kingdom halfpenny. At first glance, this small bronze coin may not seem very special, but hidden behind its worn surfaces and historic design is an important piece of British history. In fine condition, the 1939 halfpenny has become increasingly popular among collectors, especially those interested in pre-World War II coins. In today's video, we will discuss the history of this coin, its unique features, its rarity in fine and damaged condition, and most importantly, how much it can sell for at auctions in US dollars. Make sure you stay until the end because some rare examples have surprised collectors with impressive prices. The United Kingdom halfpenny of 1939 was issued during the reign of King George VI. This period was extremely important in British history because 1939 marked the beginning of World War II. Coins produced during this era are closely connected with one of the most dramatic periods of the 20th century. The halfpenny was a low-denomination bronze coin used in everyday transactions across Britain and parts of the British Empire. King George VI appeared on the obverse side of the coin after taking the throne in 1936 following the abdication of King Edward VIII. The 1939 halfpenny became part of the early coinage of George VI's reign and circulated heavily among the public during wartime years. Because many of these coins were used extensively in daily life, finding examples in higher grades today is becoming increasingly difficult. Collectors love coins from the late 1930s because they represent the final peaceful months before the war dramatically changed Europe. This historical connection adds emotional and collectible value to the 1939 halfpenny point. One of the most attractive features of the 1939 halfpenny is its classic British design. On the front side, collectors can see the portrait of King George VI facing left. Around the portrait is the Latin inscription identifying him as the King of Great Britain and Emperor of India. Even in fine condition, many details of the king's portrait remain visible, making the coin visually appealing. The reverse side displays the famous image of Britannia seated with a shield and trident beside the sea. Britannia has long symbolized British strength and stability. The date 1939 appears below the design, while the denomination halfpenny is written clearly above. The coin was struck in bronze and has a warm brown appearance when preserved properly. Some examples develop darker shades over time because of oxidation and circulation. Collectors sometimes appreciate these darker tones if the surfaces remain original and undamaged. Another interesting feature is the coin size and texture. Compared to modern coins, the halfpenny feels heavier and more solid, giving collectors a true sense of vintage craftsmanship from the Royal Mint. Although millions of 1939 halfpennies were originally produced, surviving examples in collectible condition are becoming harder to find. Most coins from this period circulated heavily during the war years, meaning many pieces became scratched, worn, bent, or damaged. Interestingly, even damaged examples still attract attention from beginner collectors because of their historical significance. Coins in heavily circulated condition can still sell for small amounts if the date and design remain visible. Fine condition examples are much more desirable because they preserve more detail while remaining affordable for average collectors. Demand for the 1939 halfpenny has grown steadily in recent years as more people become interested in British coin collecting. Online auction sites and coin marketplaces have helped increase international interest, especially among collectors in the United States and Europe. Some rare pieces with exceptional coloring, unusual mint errors, or original luster can command much higher prices. Coins certified by professional grading companies are especially popular because buyers trust the authenticity and condition ratings. Now let's discuss the part most viewers are waiting for: the current market value of the 1939 United Kingdom halfpenny in fine condition and average circulated condition. These coins are usually worth between $1 and $5. However, a genuine fine condition example with strong visible details can often sell for around $10 to $25 depending on eye appeal and surface quality. Very fine examples may reach $30 to $60 at auctions, especially if they display attractive original bronze color. Coins graded in extremely fine or uncirculated condition can sometimes exceed $100. Auction values can vary depending on collector demand, rarity of the specific example, and market trends. Some professionally graded high-end specimens have sold for several $100s when offered through major auction houses. Collectors should also remember that cleaned or damaged coins are usually worth less than original untouched examples. Natural aging and authentic surfaces are highly valued in the coin collecting community. If you are planning to collect 1939 half pennies, there are several important tips to remember. First, always examine the coin carefully under proper lighting. Look for clear date details, visible Britannia features, and original surfaces. Second, avoid cleaning old coins. Many beginners mistakenly polish coins to make them shiny, but cleaning often reduces collector value significantly. Natural toning is usually preferred by experienced collectors. Third, consider storing coins in protective holders or albums to prevent future damage. Proper storage helps maintain condition and protects the coin from moisture and scratches. Another useful tip is to compare prices across multiple auction sites before purchasing. Some sellers overprice common examples, while others may offer hidden bargains. Learning basic coin grading skills can also help collectors avoid paying too much for lower quality pieces. Finally, if you discover a particularly sharp or unusual example, you may want to have it professionally graded. Certification can increase buyer confidence and sometimes raise the coin's auction value. The 1939 United Kingdom halfpenny is much more than just an old bronze coin. It represents an important moment in British history during the early reign of King George VI and the beginning of World War II. Its beautiful Britannia design, historical significance, and growing collector demand continue to make it a fascinating. Next up, the 1963 United Kingdom halfpenny. At first glance, this small bronze coin may seem ordinary, but many collectors around the world are searching for old British coins like this because some pieces can carry surprising value. In this video, we will look at the history of the 1963 halfpenny, its unique design features, collector demand, rarity in different conditions, and its current auction market value in US dollars. If you enjoy rare coins, valuable pennies, and historic British currency, make sure to watch until the end because this coin has an interesting story behind it. The United Kingdom halfpenny was once an important part of everyday life in Britain. The halfpenny, often written as halfpenny, had a long history that dated back hundreds of years before decimal currency was introduced in the United Kingdom. The 1963 halfpenny was issued during the reign of Queen Elizabeth II and was part of the pre-decimal British currency system. During this time, British money was divided into pounds, shillings, and pence, making the system very different from today's decimal coins. The year 1963 was an important period in British history. The country was experiencing social and economic changes, and coins like the halfpenny were still commonly used for small daily purchases. Millions of these coins circulated throughout shops, markets, and public transportation systems across Britain. Although the coin was common at the time, many examples were later lost, damaged, melted, or heavily worn through circulation. Today, surviving coins in collectible condition attract attention from coin enthusiasts worldwide. The 1963 halfpenny was minted in bronze and produced by the Royal Mint. Large numbers were struck for circulation, but collectors still search carefully for well-preserved examples with strong detail and original color. Coins from this era are especially popular among collectors of British pre-decimal currency. Now let's talk about the unique features of the 1963 United Kingdom halfpenny. One of the most recognizable features is the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse side of the coin. The young portrait of the Queen was designed by Mary Gillick and shows Queen Elizabeth II wearing a laurel wreath. Around the portrait are the Latin inscriptions identifying her royal title. On the reverse side of the coin, collectors can see the famous image of Sir Francis Drake's Golden Hind ship sailing across the sea. This beautiful nautical design was created by Thomas Humphrey Paget and became one of the most iconic designs used on British halfpenny coins. The detailed ship design gives the coin strong historical and artistic appeal. The coin is made from bronze and has a rich brown appearance in circulated condition. In fine condition, many details of the ship and the Queen's portrait remain visible, although some wear can usually be seen on the higher points of the design. Collectors often pay attention to the color, surface quality, and sharpness of details when evaluating these coins. Another interesting feature is the coin's size and weight. The 1963 halfpenny is larger than many modern coins, giving it a classic vintage appearance that collectors enjoy. Its old-fashioned design reminds people of Britain's historic currency system before decimalisation in 1971. Although the 1963 halfpenny was minted in large quantities, collector demand still exists today, especially for coins in better condition. However, many people are surprised to learn that even damaged or heavily circulated examples can attract buyers. This is because some collectors simply enjoy owning historic British coins regardless of condition. In damaged condition, the value usually remains low, but coins with unusual toning, dark chocolate coloring, or readable details may still sell to beginner collectors. Some collectors purchase worn examples to complete coin albums without spending large amounts of money. Others are interested in old British bronze coins because of their historical significance rather than their rarity. Fine condition coins are more desirable because they still display clear details of Queen Elizabeth II and the Golden Hind ship. A coin with attractive surfaces and minimal corrosion can receive stronger interest at auctions or online marketplaces. Collectors especially prefer coins that have not been cleaned harshly, since cleaning often reduces collector value. While the 1963 halfpenny is not considered extremely rare, finding high-quality examples becomes more difficult each year. Many surviving coins show heavy circulation damage, scratches, stains, or environmental wear. Because of this, collectors continue searching for coins with original surfaces and appealing eye appeal. Now let's discuss the current market value of the 1963 United Kingdom halfpenny in US dollars. In heavily worn or damaged condition, these coins often sell for around 50 cents to $2 depending on overall appearance. Coins with corrosion or deep scratches usually remain at the lower end of the value range, and in fine condition, the 1963 halfpenny typically sells for around 3 to 10 US dollars. Coins with better detail and attractive original bronze color may sell for slightly higher prices, especially if they are offered in coin auctions or collectible marketplaces. Very high-grade uncirculated examples can become much more valuable. Brilliant red or red-brown specimens with minimal wear may sometimes sell for $20 to $60 or more, depending on certification and collector demand. Exceptional proof-like examples or coins graded by professional grading companies may achieve even stronger auction prices. It is important to remember that coin values change over time depending on collector demand, auction trends, and the condition of individual pieces. Rare varieties, minting errors, or unusually preserved examples can sometimes surprise collectors with higher than expected prices. If you are interested in collecting the 1963 United Kingdom halfpenny, there are several important tips to keep in mind. First, always examine the condition carefully. Look for coins with clear details, readable lettering, and minimal damage. Original surfaces are usually more valuable than cleaned or polished coins. Second, store your coins properly. Bronze coins can develop corrosion if exposed to moisture or harsh environmental conditions. Using coin holders, capsules, or albums can help protect the surface and preserve long-term value. Third, research recent auction prices. Next up, the United Kingdom halfpenny dated 1948 in very fine condition. While it may appear to be a simple low-denomination coin, its history, design, and collector demand tell a much more interesting story. In this video, we will explore its background, unique characteristics, rarity in circulated condition, and most importantly, its current auction market value in US dollars. The 1948 halfpenny comes from the pre-decimal currency system of the United Kingdom, when 12 pennies made a shilling and 240 pennies made a pound. This bronze coin was part of everyday life in post-war Britain, a period marked by economic recovery after World War II. The halfpenny had been in circulation for decades by this time, serving as one of the smallest denominations used for basic purchases. The 1948 issue was minted under King George VI, whose portrait appears on the obverse side of the coin. Coins from this era reflect a nation rebuilding itself, and they were produced in large quantities to support daily commerce. The 1948 halfpenny is made of bronze, typically composed of copper, tin, and zinc. On the obverse, you will find the left-facing portrait of King George VI, designed by Thomas Humphrey Paget. The inscription reads Georgiv 6DGBROMN Rex Phi D Def, which translates to George VI, by the grace of God, King of all the Britons, Defender of the Faith. On the reverse, the coin features the classic seated figure of Britannia holding a trident and shield, a symbol that has been associated with British coinage for centuries. The denomination halfpenny and the date 1948 are clearly displayed. In very fine condition, most of the major details remain sharp, although light wear is visible on high points such as Britannia's figure and the King's hair. When it comes to rarity, the 1948 halfpenny is considered a very common coin in terms of mintage. Millions were produced, meaning it is not rare in absolute terms. However, condition plays a very important role in its collectability. In heavily circulated or damaged condition, these coins are extremely common and often have minimal collector value. Even in very fine condition, while the coin is much more visually appealing and desirable for type collections, it is still not considered rare. Collector demand mainly comes from hobbyists building complete date sets of British pre-decimal coinage rather than investors seeking high-value rarities. However, well-preserved examples with strong detail and attractive patina can still draw attention from collectors, and in today's numismatic market, the value of a 1948 UK halfpenny in very fine condition generally remains modest. Most examples typically sell in the range of about $1 to $5 in standard collector markets. If the coin has particularly strong eye appeal, excellent strike quality, or comes from a certified grading service, it may reach around $8 to $15 at auction. Exceptional specimens with near uncirculated detail could occasionally sell slightly higher, but they are still considered affordable entry-level collector coins. Overall, its value is driven more by condition and presentation than rarity. For collectors interested in British bronze coinage, the 1948 halfpenny is an excellent starting point. When evaluating one, always examine the sharpness of Britannia's details and the clarity of King George VI's portrait. Avoid coins with excessive corrosion, cleaning marks, or heavy scratches, as these significantly reduce both visual appeal and value. If possible, store the coin in a protective holder to prevent further wear, especially since bronze coins can tone over time. Building a complete run of halfpennies from different years can be a rewarding and educational collection, even if individual coins are not highly valuable. To conclude, the United Kingdom halfpenny 1948 in very fine condition is a fascinating piece of British monetary history rather than a rare investment coin. While its market value remains low in dollar terms, its historical significance and classic design make it a worthwhile addition for collectors of world coinage. It represents a post-war era of British resilience and everyday life, preserved in bronze. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more deep dives into world coins and their hidden value.